Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, what does Josh McDaniels spurning the Colts mean for Bill Belichick's future with the Patriots? Plus, what to make of Tom Brady's show of support for Malcolm Butler? And who deserves the most blame for the woeful Cavaliers? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Well, let's start with the Josh McDaniels drama. Yesterday, he agreed to be the next head coach of the Colts and was supposed to have a press conference today, but that will not be happening after McDaniels decided yesterday to stay in New England as the offensive coordinator. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that Robert Kraft talked to McDaniels in the last few days and sweetened his contract. And Peter King reported there is no wording in the agreement that McDaniels will definitely be the next Patriots coach, but it's likely. Shannon, what does this tell you?
That this Bill Belichick impersonation has gone too far, Skip. We were talking about this yesterday, how Coach Belichick, back in that was 2000, he agreed to take the Jets job, and then a day later he resigned that post.
He did.
So Josh McDaniels, this also tells me Josh McDaniels is still the snake that everybody thought he was.
Yep.
And
could that be a chip off the snake's block?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard for me to believe that if he doesn't get this head coaching job at New England, that he'll ever get a head coaching job. Because at the end of the day, Skip, in situations like this, all you have is your word.
Yep.
They had a press release. We're having a press conference on Wednesday, which is today, to announce our new head coach, Josh McDaniels. You mean to tell me Mr. Kraft didn't know until yesterday that Josh McDaniels had accepted the job to go to Indy? Of course he knew.
Yep.
But now all of a sudden he finagles his way out. I'm glad he did because Josh McDaniels would have been exposed again. This is what we know. When he coaches Tom Brady, they're the number one scoring offense. They're the number one offense in the NFL.
True.
He went to Denver. He was 17th. He called plays at St. Louis. He was 32nd. There's only 32 teams. Skip. The only thing worse than him calling plays outside of New England was his head coaching tenure in Denver. That was worse than his play calling in St. Louis and in Denver. I can't believe this, but I had a sneaky suspicion, and you and I were talking about it yesterday. Why wouldn't they announce something right after the Super Bowl? Because everybody, that's what normally, you're on the Super Bowl, you're on one of the teams that's in the Super Bowl that Monday, such and such is our head coach. Romeo Cannell goes to Kansas City. Charlie Weiss goes to Notre Dame. Eric Mangini goes to Cleveland. Nothing. Tuesday. Yeah, it's going to happen. Confirmed that Josh McDaniels is going to take the job. And then breaking news yesterday. This is so Bush League. This is so garbage. Josh McDaniels, you gave the man your word. So all of a sudden you got second thoughts. You knew Andrew Luck's situation. Well, Andrew Luck might not be healthy. Hell, he was healthy when you signed it, when you told him you would take the deal. Now all of a sudden you worried about Andrew Luck. Hey, do you? But you don't be. What about the coaches, Skip? What about the coaches that was on the New England Patriots staff that say they're going with Josh? What if Coach Belichick says, okay, I see y'all? What about the other coaches that had probably told their employers that we're going somewhere else? Now what?
Well, two of those coaches are going to stay in Indianapolis. So, I don't know, is that fair to them? I'm with you. Well,
that's a jack move. That's a sucker move. That's a slimy, weasel, Josh McDaniels move in his Bush League.
I cannot disagree with anything you just said. But to your credit, you did bring this up yesterday. You were suspicious about why it had not been announced. Then it did get announced during our show, and I was like, well, I guess he did take the job. Then he unannounced it a little bit later. And I still sit back and say, this is very interesting. Do I think that Josh McDaniels now has a contractual guarantee that he will replace Bill Belichick? No, I do not. And Peter King on Monday Morning Quarterback says that to his knowledge, there is no contractual guarantee. Is there some sort of handshake, guarantee, promise? I'm going to assume there is, right?
Right.
And I'm going to quote one Steve Buckley. He's a columnist for the Boston Herald, and he's been in Boston forever and a day. It seems like he's been working about as long as I have, and he's covered the Patriots for year upon year, way back to the Craig James Patriot days when they lost to the 85 Bears. And Steve Buckley wrote in his piece for this morning, for the moment, Josh McDaniels remains the Patriots' offensive coordinator. I'm still quoting Steve Buckley. But you know, and I know, and the Crafts know, and Brady knows, and I assure you Bill Belichick knows that Josh McDaniels is the next head coach of the Patriots. It's just a matter of if he takes the reins next week or next season. Next week? Is that a little sensational? The Herald occasionally tends toward the sensational. But this is on the front page of the Boston Herald, and I'm going to take this one to the bank that he thinks there's at least a small chance this could happen sooner than later. What have we talked about all year long? And what hit the crescendo with the Seth Wickersham piece in ESPN.com, or I guess it was in the magazine, it was on ESPN.
Yeah, correct.
What was the bottom line? What was our takeaway? That Bill Belichick lost the power struggle.
That is correct.
Not directly with Tom Brady, but to Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft, again, one more time, decided in favor of Brady over Garoppolo and ordered, according to that piece, and we both believe that piece, ordered Bill Belichick at the trade deadline, you will part ways with your succession plan at quarterback. And Bill Belichick, according to reports, picked up the phone and called San Francisco, called Kyle Shanahan, called John Lynch, I think he called Kyle first, and said, would you give me a 2 for Jimmy G? Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And I thought that felt a little sabotagey, but it felt like Belichick, almost out of spite, said, I'm just going to give you Jimmy G.
Normally you call and says, what will you offer us for X player?
Okay.
And then you start bargaining. You don't start it out, Skip. You give us a 2 for Jimmy? What are they supposed to say? No, we'll give you a 4, though. Of course, because a lot of people were wanting to give you a first for him in the offseason.
Yep. So now I'm just speculating. This is my 2 cents from a distance. Do I think Tom Brady's not real happy with Bill Belichick off what happened in the Super Bowl? I don't think he's real happy. That's just me. Again, Tom Brady did make the mistake late in the game that eventually cost them the game. But he also broke the all-time playoff record of 505 yards passing, and he was part of an offense that for the first time in NFL history, regular season or post, broke the 600-yard total mark and lost the game because the defense gave up 41 points to a quote-unquote backup quarterback in Nick Foles. So is Tom not happy with Bill? I don't know. Is it possible Robert Kraft and son are not real pleased with the head coach who runs the defense? It's probably not real pleased.
Well, Skip, there's always been, because Tom could not understand why couldn't he be on a different playing field with Coach Belichick than all the other players.
Yep.
Coach Belichick treated him just like he did the special teams guy, just like he treated Matthew Slater.
All right.
This started because what happened? Alex Guerrero access. Sideline.
Huge.
Coming
Just
and
huge.
going.
Yep.
Because if you listen to, watch those docuseries and listen how Tom Brady talks about Alex Guerrero. He believes in him.
Oh.
He believes, next to his parents, he might believe Alex Guerrero.
To the point it's cult-like.
Yes, hung the moon.
Yep.
Or at least, pull the shade up so you can see the moon. He believes that, Skip. And Coach Belichick says, no more access. No more access. No sidelines, no going and coming.
No plane. No team.
No plane.
Yep.
Hey, guys, if y'all want to go see him, y'all go see him on y'all off time.
Yep.
You will not see him here. So that started, and plus the fact, Tom knew how Coach Belichick felt. Body language. You know how this man feels about Jimmy Garoppolo, and he never had that type of relationship with you. He's never spoken about Tom Brady, Skip, in 17 years, 18 years that he's coached him, as he has in the glowing terms when they asked him after he had traded him and they did the conference call. Smart, great guy, hard worker. They're getting a special player. He said when Tom cut his thumb, Skip, he said that wasn't a little constitutional crisis. That wasn't.
Oh, he took big shots. Not a football crisis. What was the other quote about how overblown this was?
It wasn't
a media circus.
It wasn't open heart surgery.
Yeah, it wasn't open heart surgery. Yeah.
And Skip, plus.
Okay, so
ask Tom about them footballs.
Correct. There you go. That started it. That was the first battle line drawn. Don't look at me. I don't know anything about footballs. Ask my quarterback.
Ask him.
Okay. Very interesting. So, do I believe that Bill Belichick could walk away tomorrow? I guess there's a chance. Peter King again reports that Bill Belichick, according to people close to him, will be back next year and probably the next year. All I know about next year is they're already, obviously, the Vegas favorite to win it all again next year.
Correct.
So it's hard to believe he would walk away unless it's just out of spite. He just lost a power struggle that he didn't think at this point in his career, the legacy he's built, that he deserved to lose. Right. That's the first time, as you pointed out, in his 18-year tenure that the boss said no to him on any personnel, on any football decision. He's made every decision up to that point, and that was made by the owner. Okay, so now let's be fair with this. Are there other reasons Josh McDaniels got cold feet and backed out? You know,
maybe.
Okay, let's just look at them again, snaky or not. I don't like this because you should be more definitive, more.
Just tell them. Tell them.
But again, okay. Josh McDaniels he's 41 years of age. He has 4 kids. I think these are approximate ages. They're 13, 11, 7, and 4. And several people, starting with Mike Reese, who covers the Patriots for ESPN.com, wrote about his kids mean a lot to him and their happiness, obviously, in Foxborough. They're happy in Foxborough, and it's hard, as we all know, to uproot your family and take them to Indianapolis.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the coaching profession.
It is. It's what it is.
No.
It happens to all of them multiple times.
It's almost like a military family.
It is.
Because every 2 years, 3 years, you in Germany, you in Colorado, you all over the place.
Okay, I am with you. But there was a Chris Mortensen report. Boy, I'm giving a lot of credit to ESPN here. Way to go, ESPN. But Chris Mortensen report on Sunday that Andrew Luck might need a little more cleanup procedure, surgical procedure to his shoulder. So he's not right yet. So can you blame Josh McDaniels for saying, I don't know about that?
But Skip, he knew.
You would think.
Yes.
Okay.
And you knew, first of all, the guy missed the entire season because of his shoulder.
Yep.
So that should give you some pause to begin with, regardless if he needs more surgery moving forward.
Okay.
So it tells you the significance of the injury, that it would take him down for the entirety of the season.
Correct. Next, number 3 on this list. I'm not a big fan of Jim Irsay. That's just me. I kind of like him personally. I know him a little bit off the field. He went to SMU and Dallas, but I wouldn't want to work for him. That's just me. But again, Josh got very close to working for him, but I can't condemn him for saying, you know what? I don't know if I want to bet on that guy and go live with him because he's a little more meddlesome. He's a little more hands-on. He wants to be more involved in he's got he's got a lot of Jerry Jones in him, okay? So they've gone through different GMs. Remember, Ryan Grigson was the Deflategate whistleblower, right? And there may be some Deflategate going on in this one, like we got you, like Robert Kraft said,
you thought
I got you.
You thought you had your coach.
I got you. I got you back a little bit, right? So now they have a new GM in Ryan Ballard. I don't know how he gets along with Josh McDaniels. But now, do you want to go coach a 4-12 team? And the cupboard looks kind of bare to me.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't look like a real talented football team.
You got some okay pieces. I mean, the tight end, I like the tight end.
Yeah, okay.
I like Moncrief. I like T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y.'s getting up there. He's like close to 30, right?
Frank Gore doesn't seem to age. I don't know.
Doesn't seem to age.
He's
Okay.
another Benjamin Button.
Okay, but are you stuck with Jacoby Brissett potentially for another couple of years? You already coached him as your third-string quarterback in Foxborough. But are you willing to go to a division that used to be eminently winnable, and now you got Saxonville, and you got Deshaun Watson, and you got a Tennessee team that did make the playoffs?
That is correct.
And all of a sudden, it's not very winnable. You look like clearly the 4th best team in this division, right?
Skip, they looked like the 4th best team when he was interviewing for the job. So
Okay.
after the Super Bowl, he had this epiphany, this awakening that, man, the Colts are not as good as I thought they were. Because you look at Jacksonville was in the AFC title game. Deshaun Watson is already running. He's posting this on Instagram. Yeah, as you mentioned, Tennessee, they made the playoffs.
Yep.
I got a quarterback that hadn't played in a year because of an injury.
Yep.
He's had an injury history.
He has.
He knew all that before. The second interview, he not only did he get a first interview, he recommended a second interview. So he knew everything that you and I are discussing now. He knew that before.
Before he agreed.
Thank you.
Yep, he did.
But now all of a sudden, you got people that's like, okay, I'm coming. We coming, Josh, we coming. You talking about you didn't want to move your family. What about the guy that says, okay, tell their wives, we're moving.
Okay.
Kids, you're not going to have the same friends anymore.
Okay, but until yesterday, he did not know exactly how much Robert Kraft loved Josh McDaniels. And I'm sure Robert, who's a real charmer, he has great people skills, He pulled him aside and he said, I love you, man, and I don't want to lose you, and what will it take to keep you? And he, I'm sure, upped the ante greatly.
He's making head coach money.
He's making head coach money. And then I'm sure there was at least a handshake.
Assurances.
Some assurance. You are our guy. You are positioned. We're not sure what's going to happen with Bill, but we want you to know that you are the successor for this job. Okay, well, all that is pretty hard to turn down. Wouldn't you rather coach Tom Brady and the Patriots than coach what's left in Indianapolis?
Absolutely, Skip. But I just believe, look, if you had cold feet, you could have called a man a week ago. Now they got to scramble around and try to go out there and find another coach. I just believe Josh McDaniels could have, should have.
It looks bad. Yeah. I do not disagree, but he did have some work to do last week, so whatever.
I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that.
Okay, so now let's look quickly at how good could he be as a head coach of the Patriots or anywhere else? Like you said, he may have damaged his opportunities.
I don't say I get another head coach.
Okay, so he went to Denver and he got off to a rip-roaring start, and they went 6-0, right?
Yep.
And then they, as I recall, lost 4 in a row.
Yep.
And then it started to teeter, and then fatefully, and this is always very interesting to me, being a Tim Tebow supporter, he drafted Tim Tebow with the 25th overall pick, and he spent a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of research, and he decided, that's my guy. I can win with Tim Tebow. Got him 25th. And then bad stuff started to happen, and before the next year was over, he got fired in part because, but in the end because of what happened, chip off the old block. He goes to London, and he has, again, he said his videographer did it on his own, but hey, Josh has to take responsibility for this, right?
So the videographer's like, you know what? I think today in my off time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Wembley Stadium, and I'm going to sit up at about 300, 400 feet away from a perch. And I'm just going to see, just shoot a little foot, hey. I'm in Wembley.
It's just scenery.
Normally when you go to London, Skip, you go take pictures of Big Ben.
Hey.
You go to the Louvre or something like
as
Paris.
As Mike Ditka once said, it's Disneyland for adults, London.
Right.
And it
where,
is.
Where did they put the locks on the bridge? That's in London, though, right? Where they put
No, I
locks?
think that's in Paris, too.
Okay.
But the locks on the bridge.
Yeah,
There's lots of stuff to see in London, is the point.
But normally people don't go to Wembley Stadium, sit up inside while somebody's on the field and doing something without being instructed.
And the team on the field was your opponent in that game, and they was it the walkthrough? I believe it was the walkthrough. Okay,
yes.
So you're watching what they're practicing walking through, and you're videotaping that. You're a chip off the Belichick block. You get caught, you get busted, you get fined, and you return home to get fired by Mr. Bolin.
That hurt Mr. Look, that hurt Mr. Bolin a lot because his name and his credibility means a lot to him, and people would look at him as like, you order that? And for him to do that, because there are a lot of people that advise Mr. B, don't hire him. He's not ready. And against his better judgment, he did it.
Yep.
And this is what he got in return. And so that bothered Mr. B for a long time. And once I got wind of it, I have people that work in that organization also.
You do?
They were friends. They still are friends of mine. Like, I'm surprised he even rode the plane back with us. Mr. B was so upset. And if you have this kind of history, Skip, as a head coach, why would you do anything like this?
Yep.
Granted, it's a great situation. You get to coach Tom Brady another year. Everybody, for the most part, seems to be coming back. I don't think I think Gronk retirement is Gronk wanting a contract extension to pay him in line with the top tier receivers in this league.
I'm with you.
That $4 million, $5 million base salary with incentives, Gronk says, I'm a $14 million a year. I'm an Antonio Brown and all these other top guys.
Yep. So I'm with you. I stand by what I said yesterday about Matt Patricia and any product of Brady/Belichick. Just don't trust them because none of them have gone on elsewhere to have any sustained success. So I think Josh McDaniels is the answer as the successor to Bill Belichick? I have my doubts about that. If Brady wants to make it work, you'd have a shot with it. But again, you better get a defensive coordinator.
Well, Matt Patricia might have a better shot because this is the first time he's going and he has the best quarterback of all the guys that have left and went to different situations. I mean, Matthew Stafford he's a solid quarterback. He's got to be around the top 10 guys, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that.
I've always liked him, but Rob Parker always makes the point to me, show me one signature win. I can't.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay,
so bottom line to this discussion. Bill Belichick was forced to give up his succession plan at quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now Bill Belichick is forced to live with a succession plan to replace him, Bill Belichick,
what if Coach Belichick fired him?
Fired
Josh McDaniels.
When? Now?
Yeah.
Like fire him?
Fire him.
Well, that would be a story.
Hold on.
We might have to have an undisputed special. Right?
Still think about, hold on now. As far as coaching goes, Coach Belichick has final say.
Yep.
Coach Belichick says, Josh, you like me, you undermine it. I see what you try to do, and fire it.
Okay, but to me, if I'm Belichick, the handwriting's all over the locker room wall, like, wait a minute, are they ready to replace me? Because what, they think I'm going to walk away, or are they trying to ease me out the back door? It's starting to feel like that.
Because we saw what Coach Belichick did. Once he got word that Parcells didn't allow him to interview, he resigned.
Yep.
And kicked it. It's like, okay, you screwed me, I'm finna screw you.
He'd already done the press conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there talking about you.
Yeah.
Boy, Josh, I can't believe you.
Yeah, there's a lot of egos going on, but nobody knows how to manage this more than Belichick. I think that's kind of what happened with Josh McDaniels. He tried to pull Belichick and didn't quite do it to the level that he needed to. You got to be upfront in this situation.
No mercy.
Hey everyone, it's Joy Taylor. The Undisputed podcast continues in a minute, but first I wanted to bring in Shannon Sharpe to talk about one of our sponsors.
Thanks, Joy. Hey guys, Shannon Sharpe here with a quick word from Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries. With Valentine's Day right around the corner, the last thing you want to do is pick a wrong gift. Making a big impression is key. Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries have teamed up to help you really impress your Valentine this year with their perfectly paired collection. Go ahead and think inside the box this Valentine's Day. This is really a one-of-a-kind gift. Your flowers and dipped strawberries will arrive together in a beautiful, specially designed box that will keep your flowers fresh and your berries cold, guaranteed. Right now, Undisputed listeners can save 20% on any one of their perfectly paired combinations or any other gifts over $29 with the promo code Undisputed. And take it from me, these flowers are gorgeous and the dipped strawberries can't be beat. Pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed, and customer satisfaction is always number one or your money back. Hurry and order today. Valentine's Day is next week. There's only one way to get 20% off a perfectly paired gift over $29. Featuring beautiful blooms from Pro Flowers and freshly dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries. Visit proflowers.com today and enter the code Undisputed at checkout. That's proflowers.com, code Undisputed, and you'll get 20% off this perfectly paired gift. Now, let's get back to the show.
No mercy.
There were reportedly several factors that led to Malcolm Butler being benched in the Super Bowl. They included a minor violation of team rules, struggling at practice, and an illness which caused him to arrive late in Minneapolis. Yesterday, Butler defended himself on social media, posting, "I have always respected everyone at the New England Patriots organization, from custodians, staff, and Coach Belichick. During my 4-year career with the Patriots, I've always given it everything I have to play at a high level and would never do anything to hurt my team's chances of winning a game, including this year's Super Bowl, where I visited with my family every night. During Super Bowl week, I never attended any concert, missed curfew, or participated in any of the ridiculous activities being reported. They're not only false, but hurtful to me and my family." The post was liked by Tom Brady, and Brady responded, "Love you, Malcolm. You are an incredible player and teammate and friend, always."
6 exclamation points.
6 exclamation points.
So you know he was serious.
Yeah.
We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Mark Schlereth. Welcome, Stink.
Thank you.
What do you believe?
Listen, I believe that there's been a history with him in that organization. Otherwise, why would you try to trade your number one corner that he hasn't bought in occasionally to the Patriot way? And whether you like that or not, that has been the way they have conducted business there forever. That's why guys can go there that were considered malcontents other places and have success. That's how they operate. That's the way they do business. Of course you're going to support yourself. You know you're going to go out on the free agent market. You want to secure as much money as possible. And you know this, when you deny everything, it's not like Bill Belichick's going to come out and counter that, or anybody else in that organization is going to talk about it. So the one thing is you've got to get your side of the story out there, and I'm sure there's some truth to it. but I'm sure that's not 100% true. So, I mean, I think there's two sides to every story. Somewhere in the middle lies the truth, and that's probably where we are right now. I think the more interesting thing here to me is not Malcolm Butler's denial, but Tom Brady's basic support of Malcolm Butler. Because what's interesting to me is with the Seth Wickersham story that went down, the Alex Guerrero situation, Tom Brady's trainer, all of a sudden the change of heart to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. I did a San Francisco game where I talked to Kyle Shanahan, I talked to Jimmy Garoppolo, where it was from the combine on, there's several different times they approached the New England Patriots about Jimmy Garoppolo, and the answer was 100% absolutely not. No way, no way, no way. All of a sudden the phone rings and it's Bill Belichick. Hey, do you still want him? You can have him for a second rounder. So this is the first time in 2 decades where I've seen his authority be circumvented, be usurped by anybody, including the owner in that organization. That's the story to me, because there's no other way to look at that Brady statement than to say, basically, you're going against the grain. There's clear division. There is Robert Kraft and Tom Brady, and there's Bill Belichick.
Correct.
That's where I stand. That's the interesting thing to me.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Belichick resigned and said, I'm done.
Neither would I.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
And what if Tom Brady always done? He's always told the company line. He's never ruffled the waters.
Never.
He's always going like, oh yeah, normally he would just like stay quiet.
He would steer clear of this.
This is not my fight. Hey.
Yeah.
But no, and he put them six exclamation points.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Super Bowl 1, 2, 3, 4,
5. Oh wait.
Oh, I should have had.
Oh, he should have had 6.
Now, Stick, remember, this is the same Bill Belichick that cut Taquan Underwood the night before the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Brought a defensive lineman in that didn't play. The man brought all his family down. After the meeting, he gets cut. He got to go tell his family, I ain't playing. What you mean you're not playing? Well, how about this? I'm going to take it a step further. I'm not even on the team. How crappy is that? The night before the Super Bowl, you done flew all these family members in, and not only are you not playing, you're not on the team, you're sitting in the stands with them watching the game?
Yep.
For me, Skip, I get it. If you go into the game saying, you know what, guy's not going to play, we good. But once the guy's lighting you up throwing the football, he got 215 on the touchdown at the half, all bets are off. Okay, Stink missed the meeting. Okay, Stink, you ain't playing. But our guard getting blown through. Man, you better put Stink in that game.
It's a Super Bowl.
I don't care what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So this is going to end ugly.
Yeah.
This is going to end ugly, Skip. It's not going to end. The fairy tale ending that we thought we was going to get, Tom Brady played 2 more years, walks away, Coach Belichick walks away with him, or one or the other. One retires, and next year the other retires, and, oh, this was a great run. This was the greatest run we've ever seen. This is not going to end like that.
Nope.
This is going down up in smoke.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised. If I had some good money, which I don't have, money jump funny, Joy, I would bet that Mr. Kraft is more likely than not that Mr. Kraft would fire Bill Belichick.
I've thought of that also. I know that's a long shot, but it's a shot. And to Mark's point, front page headline in today's Boston Herald, mutiny in Foxborough. Tom Brady not only supports, he endorses Malcolm Butler, who called out Bill Belichick. He dared Bill Belichick, Malcolm Butler did in public. And again, you're right, the relevant part is the Brady part. But still, Malcolm Butler dared Bill Belichick, show me something. You got the goods on me? Reveal them.
Yeah.
Give me details. Show me a picture. He flat out said, I did not miss a curfew and I did not go to a concert. There was speculation he went to a Rick Ross concert on Thursday night and blew Thursday night's curfew. And he's just flat out saying publicly, Malcolm Butler, nope, show me.
Yeah,
I did not.
That's hard for me to believe somebody would be that blatantly against that coach.
And there's no way the quarterback of the New England Patriots would publicly support Malcolm Butler if the quarterback knew something, to use your word, had been egregious that he had done. There had been some severe violation of team rules. We've heard all the speculation. Malcolm Butler is saying all the ridiculous things I've been accused of are all untrue and hurtful to me and my family.
Right.
And I spent every evening, he says, at the Super Bowl with his family. Is that true to your point? I don't know. But he dared Bill Belichick reveal, expose, show me. If you got the goods, use them on me.
Right.
And Tom Brady stepped up, and not only it'd be enough for him just to like it, but then he had to add a comment. And he went into Brady goody two-shoes mode, like, love you, Malcolm. You're an incredible player and teammate and friend always, with 6 exclamation points. This vintage, sort of sappy Tom Brady.
Think about how many careers in New England ended 2 years before. Maybe
no doubt.
The guy was,
I got
maybe it's Vince Wilfork or maybe it's Ty Law, and you ship him out early. What if this one ended with Robert Kraft shipping out Bill Belichick?
It could, because I got to tell you, this is my 2 cents. I will bet you to this moment, Tom Brady is still raw from what happened in the Super Bowl, that he is still furious with his head coach for A, not playing Malcolm Butler, and for B, not holding up his, Belichick's, end of the bargain. Tom Brady merely set the all-time playoff record for yards passing, 505. And Bill Belichick's genius defense gives up 41 points to a backup, quote-unquote, quarterback. You don't think Brady's a little raw over that?
Well, he took Alex Guerrero.
Okay.
Tom is like, he's not bothering anybody. He's taking up a seat that somebody's going to – I mean, you do realize that, like, I'm Tom Brady, and a lot of this success has to do with me and this throwing arm and this body.
Yep.
So why would you all of a sudden – so that probably started the domino. But Tom Brady saw the writing on the wall. Hold on. This guy in the last year of his contract, they ain't traded.
Yep.
I got a couple more years. Coach Belichick is real is more friendly and chummy towards him than he's ever been towards me.
So, Bill Belichick, this playoffs, fired the first shots when he said it wasn't exactly open heart surgery when Tom lacerated his hand, right? And then the next day after the game, he says, this is a media circus. It wasn't a football crisis. And Brady's saying, I had 12 stitches, not 10. He had 12 stitches in his hand. And to quote the Boston Herald again today, battle lines are drawn between these two.
Yeah.
So Brady's now, this is his way of firing back publicly, his nicey nice way. It's not open warfare, but
He
it's...
done got on that FaceTime.
Yeah.
Daddy, Coach Belichick tried to trade me. I'll take care of it, Tommy.
Yeah.
You will trade Jimmy G. This is not going to end well, Skip.
Yep. So seriously, what do you think Robert Kraft sat back late Sunday night and thought about what happened to Malcolm Butler? You think he liked it?
Well, first of all, once he got through that they lost the game, processing that's the first thing.
Right.
And then he says, hold on, the guy made the greatest defensive play in playoff Super Bowl history, and he doesn't play, and we're getting lit up by a guy that looks like Joe Montana.
And by the way, this is the guy who played the most defensive snaps in the year. The most.
Right. I will tell you this, and Shannon will back me up on this. There is a huge difference between your number 1 corner, your number 2 corner, and your number 3 corner.
Yeah.
And there's a reason cornerback has become a cornerstone position. That used to be left tackle, now it's your tackles because pass rushers are on each side. But it's pass rusher, it's tackle, it's quarterback, it's corner, and maybe
throw the ball so much.
Defensive tackle. And those are cornerstone positions. Those guys are going to make up 70% of the money you spend on your roster.
Yep.
Those positions.
Okay.
And the rest of us are grunt laborers.
I'm
you
with
take
you.
out your best quarterback.
Okay.
That's serious.
If you had pulled it off and held Nick Foles to what I thought he could hold it to, under 20, and
Right.
you win the game 33-20, no issues
No
here.
issues.
But again, this was the guy who was your best ball hawk in the secondary. I told you. Does he have a bad attitude? Yes, he does. To your point, did he have bad practices? I have no doubt he practiced poorly during the week. Is that a reason to bench him for all 4 quarters?
Right.
No,
After
not
getting
after.
torched
At halftime, you have to say, man, we got to try.
And you just saw what he did 2 weeks ago to historically the greatest third down defense the NFL had ever seen. So you know he's capable of it now.
Listen, empires fall, Those egos are tough to live with. Manage it for a little while, but eventually.
Bill Belichick, the next head coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
No, that would be a story.
If I'm Bill Belichick, I call up whoever's in charge of Green Bay. I want that job.
Mark Murphy, I think.
I want that job.
No mercy.
Hey, everybody. Joy Taylor here. Thank you for listening to the Undisputed podcast. But I wanted to tell you about another podcast at Fox Sports that we are really excited about, And that's Alexi Lalas's State of the Union podcast. That's right, U.S. soccer legend Alexi Lalas will be partnering with Fox soccer guru and researcher extraordinaire David Mosse to review the top storylines in soccer across the globe. Each week, Alexi will give his State of the Union on American soccer as it rebuilds for the future. So go subscribe right now and listen to the first episode for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Now back to the show.
No mercy.
The Eagles won their first Super Bowl on Sunday, and their appearance in the game caused Jerry Jones to lose sleep. Jerry said on Saturday, quote, "The muffled voice you've been hearing is me screaming in my pillow over not being here and seeing Philadelphia." Shannon, how concerned should Jerry be
He
about
should be
the Eagles?
very, very concerned.
And you should be very, very happy.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Can't you tell?
Yes.
Skip, he wasn't he wasn't, oh, those muffled sounds you heard, me screaming in my pillow because I'm not here. No, it's because they're there without the MVP quarterback. They're there without their Hall of Fame left tackle. Ooh, they young, and they in your division. Mm-hmm. What you should be really, really scared about is how Jeffrey Lurie does business. Mm-hmm. He let Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson do their jobs. And their core young guys, ooh, Zach Ertz, he got 4 more years. Alshon 4, Lane Johnson tied up, Cox, Kelsey, Jernigan. Ooh, Jay Ajayi, he make $700,000 next year. Oh, y'all in a heap of trouble, folk. Hey, Skip. You in trouble, and you can't walk it off. All that pom-pom talking, every time I turn around, what I think Dak need to do. You know what? I don't even know what Jeffrey Lurie voice sounds like. I don't know what Howie Roseman voice sounds like.
You do not. I agree.
But I know what Jerry Jones voice sounds like, because not only he cleaning up the house, he buying the grocery, he cooking the grocery, he parking the car. He don't want nobody to get no money.
That is correct.
Skip.
Yes.
You know, boy, me and the Eagles, boy, we flying high. Fly, Eagles, fly. You think they let me go to the parade? Do you think they let me? I want to go to the White House. I want to go to the
Philly fans are authentic, so no, probably
Philly
not.
fans love Shay.
I don't know why you picked the Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
No. I pick them over the Cowboys all the time. And I told you, hold on, Joy, let me enjoy this moment.
You lie to everybody. You're
Very
lying
good
all the
question.
time. You picked the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. You got all these Eagles fans convinced that you were on the Eagles bandwagon this whole time.
The jinx was in.
And you picked the Seahawks.
Well,
it was a trick.
Hey, Skip, you know how I jinxed that thing on up for you. Had that doll.
Shannon has magical powers now.
I had that Tom Brady voodoo doll I got from New Orleans. I was sticking it.
So, as a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan, I am here to say that this time of year, especially at this point, I want Jerry Jones to be seen and not heard from. I don't want to hear another word from Jerry Jones because he doesn't deserve a peep publicly. And I don't want to see him trying to upstage the Philadelphia Eagles because they deserve their moment in the sun. I am green with envy of the green guys because they pulled it off. It was an all-time upset, but they did it with what I now consider easily the best roster in all of football. It is easily.
They loaded.
It is loaded so much that on injured reserve this year was maybe the best left tackle because my guy Tyron Smith, he didn't look like the best left tackle this year.
Back issues.
Jason Peters did. And he got hurt, and I'm going to assume he's going to come back, and God bless him, I hope he's fully healthy. But that big V they stuck in there, did they not have depth in the offensive line?
Loaded.
We had Chaz Green. That's all we had. The only Green we had was Chaz in Dallas, and Chaz couldn't block me in Dallas because that game that he had to substitute for Tyron Smith in Atlanta, which was the absolute nadir and turning point of the year, we gave up, Chaz gave up, Byron Bell gave up, his backup, 8 sacks in that game. 8 blindside hits on Dak Prescott. So I give you that. But Jason Peters on IR, Darren Sproles, can he play at 35 next year?
Nope.
I don't know if they even need him because Corey Clement.
Undrafted free agent.
Wow, Corey Clement.
Making peanuts.
He looked like a young Darren Sproles. Every time I looked up, he was making another play. He did not catch the ball on the end line. He juggled it going out of bounds. He did not catch it.
He did, Skip.
But it was a beautiful throw from Nick Foles.
Did you smell the deodorant?
Wow.
Did you smell the deodorant?
Yeah.
When the referee raised his arm for a
I did
touchdown.
not,
Make him smell the deodorant, Joy.
Yeah, and by the way, Jordan Hicks, who once upon a time knocked Tony Romo out for a whole season with a broken collarbone, was knocked out of this year's season.
Yeah.
So he's coming back to join a linebacker core. We still have the best linebacker in football in Sean Lee. I don't care what you say.
He can't stay healthy.
With Sean Lee, we were really good. Without him, we got just roasted in the second halves of those games. But if you look at the group of linebackers that these guys have, Michael Kendricks and Nigel Bradham, on top of Jordan Hicks coming back,
Jink.
they're just loaded.
Well,
I mean,
did you see that hit Malcolm Jenkins put on old Cooks?
yeah. We don't have a Malcolm Jenkins.
You
We got a
supposed-
Jeff Heath.
When you drive, when you pull out, what you supposed to do, Joey? Look both ways. He looked to his right. It was that blind spot on the left that got him.
Do we have a Fletcher Cox in the middle of our defense? We do
don't
not.
know.
Do we have a Brandon Graham blowing in off the edge and blowing up Tom Brady before he can get rid of the bat?
Lawrence.
No, we don't have
You don't
that
like
guy.
him?
We don't have that guy.
Skip.
Brandon Graham he's another cut
You
above
say-
a DeMarcus Lawrence, who is a free agent, and I don't even know if we're gonna
DeMarcus
re-sign
Lawrence
him.
Taylor, that's your guy.
But I don't even know if we're going to re-sign him.
What you mean you don't know if you're going to re-sign him?
I'm not sure about it.
Okay,
so
don't re-sign him.
Howie
See what-
Roseman, Executive of the Year. Is it even close?
No.
Because what happened to Walk It To Him? Is that what you call him?
Walk It
Walk
To
It To Him Wentz, lamest nickname in the history
No,
of
don't do
sports,
that,
but
Skip.
it's okay. But what happened to Carson Wentz as a rookie? He was a disaster. And then I got to give Doug Peterson the credit. They rebuilt his delivery. He started to get more upright and get rid of it a lot quicker. But what did Howie Roseman do during the offseason last year? My guy needs some receivers who can catch the football. My guy, Dak Prescott, he needs the whole group replaced. We have nobody who can get open, but he went out and he got Alshon Jeffrey. That's pretty good. He got Torrey Smith. That'll work. He's got Aguilar already because he drafted him. That'll work.
Got rid of Jordan Matthews.
Yep.
Got rid of those
Did.
guys.
He did.
Got him a quality back. What he's done, what the Eagles did so well is that, okay, yeah, we got 22 great guys that we feel comfortable with. Now let's go get some depth. So if we lose somebody.
So is Zach Ertz better than Jason Witten at age 45?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. No, he's actually 35. But he feels like he's getting toward 45 to me. So, okay, I give you that one. So as much as I like Will McClay drafting for Jerry Jones, I know in the end Jerry is the veto power.
Thank you.
It's like, okay, I'll let you do that one. I'll let you have that
How
one.
many times you think Jeffrey Little going down there and telling Doug Peterson who to play and what to do?
None. I agree. So will I take Doug Peterson any day or night over Jason Garrett? Yeah. Jason Garrett, Coach Clapp, Coach Clapper, he's just over there. That's all he does.
That's all
And Doug Peterson even calls his own plays, and I'm not sure there's a better play caller in football than Doug Peterson.
Hey.
Because what did he do? Unfortunately for you, your MVP argument, they just put Nick Foles into the same system, and he kept calling. They had to rework it a little bit in their bye week, but they figured out what Nick Foles does best, and he just kept calling plays that worked. And they torched the geniuses, Bill Belichick's defense, for 41 points. Way to go. I give you that.
I think it's only right, it's only fair that game plan go to Canton. Because if Bill Belichick's defensive game plan for the job that he did on the K-Gun in the 90 Super Bowl, this thing should be on display for thousands and millions to come see. Like
Meant the Philly special?
Yeah, the Philly special.
Yep.
I thought it was like cheesesteaks with onion rings and French fries or something like that. No, the Philly special.
So, bottom line, offensive line, which I thought was the strength of my Dallas Cowboys, they were pathetic this year. Did they not live down to their reputation? I'm giving you this. I'm laying it out. I'm spilling my guts out here because they were terrible.
You know Zach Martin's a free agent.
Okay, I know. And so I don't know what it's going to look like. They lost 2 key pieces a year ago, one to your guys, right?
Yep.
And
look like y'all going to
Bryce
Bryce Butler say he ain't gonna play.
So who had the best offensive line in football this year? I think Philly did. Seriously, even
as far as depth, you have to. You lose. Peters is a perennial All-Pro. The guy's gonna go to the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. And you put a guy in there who, remember now, Pro Football. Think about this. Pro Football Focus. All those offensive guys. Nick Foles was the 53rd best player on the field during the Super Bowl. Make a case he was number 1, but that's neither here nor there. Look at all those Philly offensive guys that stepped up and played out of their mind.
Yep, I agree with you. So, bottom line, as I step back from all this, I say, what's the only hope my Cowboys have? Well, you got to fix a lot of things in the offseason, but your Eagles, now that you're Mr. Eagle, I'm not going to say you have a quarterback controvery, but you have a quarterback quandary. Am I right? You do, because
we got a good problem.
Okay, Carson Wentz, I respect him. He's a good guy, nice guy. Now I hear engaged. He's going to get married. Way to go, Carson.
That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Get 2 trophies on the same night.
He looks like he's injury prone because I think he's got that gambler gene in him and he's just not going to be able to help himself. And I'm not sure he can stay healthy playing football the way he plays. High risk, sometimes high
Well, he
reward.
won't get hurt. He won't get hurt playing y'all because y'all
Okay.
can't get to him.
So what if he comes back and sort of rushes back and they start him and they go 3-3 in their first 6 games? What will those Philly fans be chanting for?
We're not.
Foles, Foles, Foles. Can you hear it now echoing
They
across
say,
this
throw
table?
them foes.
Huh?
No, Skip.
Am I right?
We get to take our time with Carson.
Oh.
We're like, Carson, we're going to make sure you're right because we want to make sure, because this is what Jerry sees, their MVP caliber quarterback missed the last 3 games of the season and the playoffs, and they won the Super Bowl. And I got to deal with him for 12 more years. And all these young guys that's locked up, Pro Bowl players.
Yep.
Ernst and Lane Johnson, Pro Bowl. Ooh, Kelsey, Pro Bowl, best center in football. Fletcher Cox. It's going to be trouble.
Yep, it's going to be trouble unless Jerry Jones goes Howie Roseman. So, Jerry, you're on the clock. It is time to cut the apron strings to Des Bryant.
Whoa!
It's time. It's done. You got to let your son go.
No, we can't do that.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Mr. Crab couldn't let his son.
No,
you
gotta
can't
let your
jettison
son
your
go.
son. Joy.
Okay, what did Howie Roseman do? He went out and fixed his biggest problem. He got 2 high-quality receivers to help his quarterback actually start to make an MVP case, which was phony to start with. But
No, what?
you know, yes, it
you
was.
knew he would.
Okay?
You know he would have won.
So
MVP.
it's up to Jerry Jones to go out right here, right now, and get 3 new receivers for Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott's better than Carson
Y'all
Wentz.
ain't got no
We know
money.
that.
Okay, get them receive. What you gonna do?
Did Philly have any money? I don't know
Yes.
how they did this.
What-
They stole Alshon.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. What are you gonna do about Zach Martin? What are you gonna?
You got to pay somebody. so-
Okay, what about DeMarcus?
I don't
Lawrence
know.
Taylor?
I told you, I'm not sure about that one.
The dude.
Maybe it may have to be Taco Charlton. He's going to have to be.
Oh,
tacos, yeah.
They must be closed. They must be closed. That taco stand.
I don't know.
Because he wasn't giving out no tacos, Joy.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is 75 years old in the Hall of Fame.
So he's going to rest on his laurels.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's trying new things these days.
All I know is Philly got a Super Bowl since the Cowboys last won one.
Yeah.
Giants got 2 of them.
You know, the game that Carson Wentz did play at Jerry World, they were trailing at halftime. I don't know how my.
Hold on.
my
How did the
leaders
score end
fought.
up? How did it end up?
There was no Sean Lee in the
Don't do that, Skip.
Sean
Don't
Lee.
do that. 37-9.
Yeah, if Sean Lee's healthy next year, you could be in trouble. The Redskins are going to be better with Alex Smith. The Giants just have to be better. They just, you know it and I know it. So the Eagles are going to lose some division games, and then maybe it'll start to level the playing field.
Normally, when you win that Super Bowl, you get hungry because you just don't want one of them things. Because anybody can win 1 in a row. You want to show you really good, go back and do it again.
With which quarterback? That's the question.
You know what quarterback we gonna have. Stop trying to stop.
I watched Nick
Stop
Foles.
trying to start it, Skip.
He played better than Carson Wentz would have ever played under those circumstances.
No mercy.
Hey everyone, it's Joy Taylor. The Undisputed podcast continues in a minute, but first I wanted to bring in Shannon Sharpe to talk about one of our sponsors.
Thanks, Joy. Hey guys, Shannon Sharpe here with a quick word from Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries. With Valentine's Day right around the corner, the last thing you want to do is pick a wrong gift. Making a big impression is key. Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries have teamed up to help you really impress your Valentine this year with their perfectly paired collection. Go ahead and think inside the box this Valentine's Day. This is really a one-of-a-kind gift. Your flowers and dipped strawberries will arrive together in a beautiful, specially designed box that will keep your flowers fresh and your berries cold, guaranteed. Right now, Undisputed listeners can save 20% on any one of their perfectly paired combinations or any other gifts over $29 with the promo code Undisputed. And take it from me, these flowers are gorgeous and the dipped strawberries can't be beat. Pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed, and customer satisfaction is always number 1 or your money back. Hurry and order today. Valentine's Day is next week. There's only one way to get 20% off a perfectly paired gift over $29. Featuring beautiful blooms from Pro Flowers and freshly dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries. Visit proflowers.com today and enter the code UNDISPUTED at checkout. That's proflowers.com, code UNDISPUTED, and you'll get 20% off this perfectly paired gift. Now, let's get back to the show.
No mercy.
The Cavs were blown out last night in Orlando, and there are plenty of reasons for their struggles. A scout told ESPN that the Cavs have no athletes, and LeBron can't blow by defenders like he used to. And after the game, Isaiah Thomas appeared to call out the coaching staff. Let's take a listen.
We got to do better. We got to figure out, we got to adjust throughout the game. They made adjustments, and it worked, and we just kept getting hit with the same thing, and we made no adjustments. And that's been one of our biggest problems this year is adjusting. I mean, teams are not just going to allow us to continue to score and continue to do things at a high level, they're going to make adjustments. We have to do the same thing too, and we're not that good at that right now.
We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
What's the biggest problem with the Cavs right now?
Let me just say this, as a media member, a reporter, you love IT.
Yeah, you love it.
It's not great for the team, but you love a guy that's going to come out and say stuff like that. But here's what I'll say about the Cavs. You always hear players say a team is a family, right? It's like a family. Okay, so like any family, if the parents have a bad relationship and it's out in the open and all the kids know, it's going to negatively impact the kids. The parents, of course, are Dan Gilbert and LeBron James. Gilbert is upset that LeBron won't commit long term. It was bad, obviously, to begin with when LeBron went back, but now it's worse. LeBron is upset because obviously he wants them to use that Brooklyn pick to get somebody else, but also because he knows he was on the telephone with Dan Gilbert telling him, do not trade Kyrie. They told him about the Boston deal. LeBron said, do not trade Kyrie. And this is everything LeBron said is coming to pass. IT is injured, number one. Number two, he's 5'9". It's tough to win with smaller players. Number three, I get Kyrie in camp. I'll work it out. And other players felt the same way, Tristan Thompson and other guys. So all this is coming to pass. And finally, LeBron knows, yeah, Gilbert wants me to commit long term, but not just because of basketball. He wants to have me locked up for 4 or 5 more years. So as he begins to look at selling eventually, the value will be high because of me.
Right.
And LeBron doesn't want to be used that way by this guy. So now, all the kids see this. And Ty Lue is one of the kids. I hate to say it. He's one of the kids,
He is.
okay?
I agree.
And so there's a feeling that Ty Lue feels pressure to play Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
Gilbert, we know the reports that Gilbert and Isaiah have become close. And the other players, the kids see this one's getting favorable treatment.
He bad and still getting treatment.
Exactly. He's getting favorable treatment. Yeah. And you got players and kids with egos and names who have done big things in this league. And they see we're losing. He's not playing well defensively. Offensively, he's running his mouth, and he's still getting the minutes. So what does that do to other players? It kills their spirit.
Yeah.
And so this is a team that's just dispirited. I heard you earlier. You said, what's wrong with LeBron? Here's what's wrong with LeBron. We've always known LeBron is more like Magic than Michael.
Right.
LeBron, and like Magic, he needs other great players. Like, he doesn't have the mentality to go out night in, night out. I'm going to put 50 on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put 50
Kobe.
on you.
You remember
Exactly.
Kobe had that streak, Skip? He had like 8 straight games of 40. Had like 5 games of 50 in there.
He loves that.
Yes.
LeBron doesn't want that. So he needs other dudes that's going to go get me big points. Wade, Kyrie. And furthermore, he needs to believe in his teammates. That first stint in Cleveland, even though they didn't win the title, I had talks with LeBron. He believed in those guys. Mo Williams, Delonte West, Anderson Varejao. Even though they weren't great, he knew they had heart. He knew they could defend. He believed in them.
Ilgauskas.
He loved Ilgauskas. Now he doesn't believe in these guys.
Well, I know
and
3
he's
for sure
dispirited.
I know 3 for sure. Start with Isaiah. See, he talking about adjustment. See, and they talking about, well, they make adjustment. We can't make no adjustment because we not God. We can't give you 6 more inches. You're going to be 5'9". We stuck with that because here's the thing, Skip. They're the 3rd worst defensive team as far as efficiency, and they're the 22nd ranked offensive team. So he gives you nothing on defense. He's adding nothing to your offense. So what good is he? What good is a 5'9" NBA player that doesn't give you points and doesn't play defense? Nothing. He might as well just come out to the blacktop and hang out and say, hey, man, the dude that used to play in the NBA shooting ball at the blacktop. Jay Crowder, I don't care what metrics, what analytics, he's been terrible, awful. J.R. Smith, I know he's gone through some things in his life the last couple of years, but J.R. got that money, and J.R. has not looked the same. Tristan Thompson got that money, and he has not looked the same. Tristan Thompson used to give you 2, 3 offensive rebounds in one possession. I'm just hoping he can get 5, 6 rebounds a game now. I only need his point. We already know he give you 6 points here one game, maybe 10, but mainly, he gonna be, 6 to 8. But what about play Jeff Green, play D Wade. Look at LeBron numbers since Isaiah's been back.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Jeff Green's numbers. Look at Kyle Korver.
Kevin Love when he was healthy.
Kevin Love was 2010. Now he down to 18-8, fooling with Isaiah. But y'all keep on thinking Isaiah, when he get well. But so what did I do in the meantime while he getting well on the job, Skip? He making everybody else sick while he getting healthy. Please.
So, Chris Broussard, I told Shannon earlier in the show, in all my years covering the National Basketball Association, which dates back to 1976 here in Los Angeles for the Times, covering the LA Lakers featuring Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I have never, ever seen anything like this, where you had a team that won 18 of 19 games featuring an MVP candidate, LeBron James.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it looks like it can't even compete in the league. It's like become non-competitive, where last night at Orlando against a team that was only a half game ahead of Atlanta at the bottom of the East, not the West, at the East. A team playing last night without Aaron Gordon did that to you. You look like world beaters for a quarter and you score 43. And then it's like, are we there yet? Is that enough? Are we fixed now? I guess we can all stop, right? We can go back to what we used to do, because that was as pathetic a 3 quarters as you will ever see any NBA team ever play under these circumstances. So I'm back to what the scout told Dave McMenamin of ESPN.com, who covers the Cavs. He said a scout was at the game and told him LeBron has lost a step on his blow-by move. Now, I've brought up many times, it looks like LeBron is not playing as hard on defense, but to me, I don't see lost step on offense. I don't.
I don't either.
You know, when he decides to take it to the rack, I still see, maybe it's just freight train power where he's just sort of powering by people, but I don't see Michael Jordan as a wizard yet. I don't see that,
question.
Okay? Because
He had 9 of his 17 shots within the paint.
Okay, so I'm with you, but I do agree with what Mark Jackson said on ABC during the telecast Saturday night. He sat back and said, hey, if LeBron is still the best player in this league, he's got to be better than this. He's got to ignite them on offense. He's got to spark them on the defensive end, and he doesn't. He's just lifeless. I've never seen anything like it, and it must be because of this feud, or he's looking at his teammates and just
get out there and Drake Crowder out there and watch how he's brightened
he's
up.
playing. He steps on the floor like he doesn't have a chance to win that game. Yeah. And you've never seen this, have you?
No. And to Mark's point, Mark Jackson, if you're the best player in the world, you have to believe. I don't care what you go out there with. You should have enough belief, especially against an Orlando, but really anybody in the East. He
got Orlando's roster on his roster with just him. Think about this. We talking about LeBron is playing bad. The dude had 10 rebounds and 5 assists at the half and didn't have anything else the rest of the game. So
he's not playing horribly. For him, he's playing. He's not playing like the best player in the world.
No.
Right now, he is not the best player in the world, and not
Chris,
only Kevin
think
Durant,
about
but
this.
others.
Since Christmas, over these last 19 games, LeBron James, the quote-unquote best player on the planet, has the worst plus-minus in all of the NBA. The worst. That's 518 players. That's just wrong. Yeah. These are your minutes on the floor. Your team has the biggest deficit of any player in the league. That's inexplicably wrong and bad, because he's better than that. Yeah. But we look around at 18 of 19, it came without your little man.
Well,
no Isaiah.
Calderon was just a better fit.
He was.
And I like Isaiah Thomas for what he is. Yeah. He's a good player for what he is.
I liked him in Boston. I just don't think he's healthy. I think he had a Bo Jackson sort of hip injury.
And who knows if you ever come back from that.
And even if he is healthy, unless you structure the system that he's going to be the guy, he can't play.
He should be a 6-man if you're right.
If you look at what he had last year, he was with Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley. those guys are not offensive guys, go get it. So it worked perfect
He
for
was
him.
in basketball heaven, man.
Yes.
It was his team and his ball. Just do whatever you want
Brad
to do.
Stevens should get Coach of the Year now
Yeah.
for having the coach in the past 2 years and get something out of it.
He's obviously not as good as Allen Iverson was. But you saw this with Iverson. When he went from Denver to Detroit, it was like now all of a sudden you're in a system that's not geared. And remember, in Denver, he was still giving you 25 points a night with Carmelo. He goes to Detroit. It's not built around you. You're one of many. We got other stars. And it didn't work. And his career plummeted the rest of the way.
Then he went to Memphis. He would go to Memphis for like a day.
As they
days.
are right now, it feels unfixable, but I can't give up the fact with Calderon in the lineup, they won 18 of 19. So what if somebody had the guts to demote Isaiah back to the bench and go back to whatever that, I don't even know what the lineup was, but you got to get Kevin
No. We're not worried about Kevin. We're not worried about Kevin right now. Kevin, get that hand healthy. No, I'm not saying just like break. No, he going like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. He need to be like the third or the fourth guy coming off the bench.
They need to obviously try to trade him. If they can't do that,
buy him out.
You might. I mean, it's honest.
Buy him out.
It might be buy him out, cut him, something, because
I don't
he's
disagree with
not
that.
going to be. And again, I understand he wants his payday. I get it. He's never gotten it, unfortunately.
It happens.
But he's not going to be happy coming off that bench. And the second unit belongs to D. Wade.
Well, let me ask
If
you a
you
question.
just give the ball to Isaiah, D. Wade's not going to be as effective. D. Rose is not going to be as effective. So I think you have to basically get rid of him.
Let me ask you a question. Would he be more upset coming off the bench or coming off the streets? Because that's the choices I'm going to give.
That's a good question.
That's the choice I got for you, Skip. You want to come out the bench or you want to come out your house? Because you got to.
But my thing is, coming off the bench, how much does he even play? That's a part of their problem is they have too many guys that should play and kind of do the same thing. D. Wade, as great as he's been, he's that type of player now. And so is Rose. And so I don't need 3 of those guys.
20 to 25 minutes for D. Wade is good. Man, Derrick Rose, you saw what Derrick Rose did last night. You see, I mean, he left. Then Isaiah, they're talking about Kevin Love left the game.
It's Isaiah's team now, you know?
Skip.
I like his
I post Skip Bayless.
He said it.
He said it. He gonna average 30.
Chris, thanks for joining us.
Spoken into existence.
No mercy.
The Thunder snapped their 4-game losing streak in a big way last night with a blowout win against the Warriors. Russell Westbrook scored 34 and Paul George had 38 in the win. It was a rough night for the league leader in technical fouls, Draymond Green. In the second quarter, he was elbowed in the face and got a bloody lip. He complained to the refs about it for the next few minutes and was given a technical. Then in the fourth quarter, he was given another technical and ejected after tossing the ball at a ref. The Warriors had 5 technicals total in the game, but Steve Kerr said, quote, "We were way worse than the officials were." A little shot there. Shannon, did last night say more about the Thunder or the Warriors?
Thunder, and it's told me what I already knew, that the Thunder go as Russ goes. And in the first quarter, Skip, he had it go, and he couldn't miss. 9 of 11, 21 points. And then as he started to cool, Paul George started to heat up. Paul George had 33 points after the first quarter. So when they lost Melo early, Steph Curry inadvertently stepped on the back of his ankle, rolled his ankle, so he was gone. Man, but that first quarter with Russ, and then the third and fourth with Paul George, ooh, and they get it cooking like that. Now, the Warriors should be concerned. They're 1-3 against OKC and Houston. They beat Houston without James Harden. They got Steven Adams. This is the Steven Adams I wanted to see. This is the Steven Adams why OKC gave him a $100 million contract, Skip. He owns the backboard. Offensive rebounding, he's getting 3-4 a night, giving them second chances. And then Grant coming off the bench, he was unbelievable again. Skip, we thought they could be, and this is what I don't get about them. They blow the doors off the Warriors, and then they'll lose to a team that has a losing record. At home, how?
I think these new big 3 in OKC, the OK3, I think they think so much of their 3-ness that they look at Sacramento or somebody and say, we can mail this one in, and they can't. So my takeaway from this game last night is Russell Westbrook is finally starting to get his revenge on Kevin Durant. It's starting to feel like this year's new Oklahoma City Thunder has the number of this year's Golden State Warriors. And it was not Kevin Durant's fault. He is playing at an extremely high level every game. This is 5 times now he's played against Russ since he left Oklahoma City.
Correct.
And he's averaging 33 and 8 against Russell head-to-head. And he is shooting 57% from the three-point line, so it's not his fault.
Yeah, he playing his tail off.
Yeah, playing his tail off. But this last night in Oakland was a first-round knockout by Russell Westbrook. Because look what happened in the first quarter.
He was out of his mind.
Out of his mind. He goes 9 for 11, and he's like tomahawk dunking at the rim, just
Yes.
like throwing it down
Yes.
with fury and purpose. And it was over after a quarter. It was 42-30 after the first quarter, and they never looked back.
No.
They led by 22 going to the fourth quarter, and Russ didn't score a single point in the fourth quarter because he didn't need to. Paul scored 11.
Paul had
he had a
40
big-time
and
night.
kept it going. But here's the thing, Skip. We know the bitterness from a court standpoint of what Russ feels for Kevin, but it's more for Steph. Every time he touches the floor against Steph Curry, you watch how he plays. Remember when they were up 3-1 and they lost the game and make it 3-2, and the reporter asked him,
He laughed.
Steph did a good job on you defensively.
Yeah.
Really?
He laughed at him.
Did
laughed in his face.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Steph doesn't play defense.
No.
They're a great help defensive team. They play lanes really well, and now they got Draymond, who's Defensive Player of the Year, and they got Kevin Durant that have like octopus arms.
Yep.
But Skip, like you said, the first quarter, he came out. Russell hit like 3 shots in a row, like 15-foot bank shot from the corner. And then he was pulling up from the 3.
Game over, man.
It's over. He gets off like that. Now what do you do? Because now you try to take him away. He's going to pass the ball because he's a willing participant. Now he believes he has someone that can ride shotgun with him.
He does.
In Paul George.
He has a better Oladipo.
Yes.
A little bit like Oladipo's an all-star. So I
Yes.
take nothing away, but Paul George is better.
Yes.
Yeah.
On both ends.
On both ends because he had 6 steals last night.
And a
Paul
bunch-
George.
and a
That'll
bunch-
work.
Guarding Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant's going to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not shutting Kevin Durant down. The dude is 7 foot tall, shooting the ball at about 10 feet up in the air. So you're not going to shut him down because he's too good. He's too versatile for you to do that. But he bothered him, got him a couple of steals. But, man, if the Warriors have to go through the Thunder and the Rockets, boy, that's a tall order, Skip.
It's a tall order.
That's a tall order.
But by the way, I differ with your percentage breakdown. I think it's still 60-40 motivation to beat KD over Steph. But I don't disagree with your big point about that. He loves to torch this guy, the 2-time back-to-back MVP.
This is what we do know.
Yeah.
They will lose if they have to go through the Thunder and the Rockets.
Yeah.
They will lose more than one playoff game on the way to a title.
Yep.
We know that. There will be no more cakewalks for the Golden State Warriors. And now what seemed like a foregone conclusion, I still believe they're going to probably get there. But that 80-90% that everybody once thought they had going through to the finals.
I agree with that. By the way, just remember, for those out there, and we all do recall, last year at Oklahoma City, Russell and Kevin just got in a screaming match at the end of a quarter. You know, they're just screaming back and forth. And then this year at Oklahoma City, they literally went forehead to forehead, right?
Yeah.
Just like pushing each other's foreheads back and forth. So there's still deep bitterness, especially on Russell's part, to get even with Kevin. And this is the formula I've just decided after last night. The formula to beat Golden State, especially at Golden State, you need Steph Curry to go 2 for 9 from 3, and that's what he did. If he goes 2 for 9, it takes the home crowd out of the game. What detonates that crowd like nothing else?
The 3.
His 3. You can argue Clay's sometimes, but I think it's more Steph. It's a Steph crowd.
They were 4-15 combined.
Okay.
Now you're gonna have a
That'll
chance
work.
because here's the thing, Skip. No lead is really safe with them
Yep.
because they shoot the 3 so well. Because they'll come down and stop you 3 possession, and KD, Steph, and Clay hit 3 threes back to back, and all of a sudden, what was a 15-point game is a 6-point game, and the crowd's back in it.
So I'm now convinced there's only one man who can stop Steph Curry from making threes, and it's just Steph Curry. It's just his psyche.
Just
If
make
he's a
him
little
miss.
off, because you can't defend him. It is indefensible. He's pulling up from anybody, anywhere, you know, on anybody.
Yes.
There's no way to get up in him, get bodies in him.
No.
He's just too good. The release is too quick. It's just his psyche. He's hot or he's cold. If you
Right.
get him on a cold night, this can happen.
Ask Boston when he's on a hot night what he'll do to you there.
Oh, just torch. It's
And
just
because
torch.
Skip, the thing is, he handles the ball so well, he can go by you. So you have to pay him respect so he doesn't go by you. And then you think he's going to go, he's like, oh, fine, I'm not going to let you go by. And he'll hop back behind the three-point line and hit switch nothing but net. They were cold last night. But, hey, Oklahoma City, hey, Russ, I'm telling Russ, do you. First quarter is all you, Russ. And then we're going to take it from here.
I agree. But to your point, this was impressive. It was highly impressive. So was the win because they won by, what was it, in Oklahoma City, by 20?
They run by, yeah.
Yeah. So 20, and then last night by 19.
I like that
Okay.
Jeremy Grant, Skip.
Oh, well, he came off the bench and gave him a big pop. But they don't have much bench. But still, takeaway is, so now Golden State's lost 3 of 4 games, and Steve Kerr says, we need a break. We're fried mentally. They weren't fried mentally last night. They were up for this,
Right.
and they just got knocked out in the first round
I
by
can see
one punch.
those small teams, but when OKC come to town, the Rockets come to town, the Celtics come to town, they don't look fried. They just get beat.
So I still give them an edge in the West,
Yes.
but it's shrinking.
Man, if they have
Shrinking.
what if they have to play the Thunder in the second round and then get the Rockets, or vice versa?
And of course, if Kawhi Leonard ever decides to get right,
I mean, y'all done, Skip. Y'all done. Y'all done. Y'all done.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.